channel. I made this little video about ponying along horses for my blog, Marvari Horsemanship, where I'm actually documenting my work with young horses, particularly at the moment with a young 3-year-old gelding called Rajmani. You can see him here. He's being ponied along at the moment, really nicely following us. And I want to talk to you a little bit about why to pony horses along. I'm sitting on my alpha female on my lead mare of my herd, Sultana. She's 8-year-old mare, soon to be 9-year-old, and she's a good guide horse, a good leading horse for a young horse to pony along because she's really quiet. She is sometimes getting scared of things, but she's not too bad about that, and not too jumpy anymore. And she's good with Rajmani. Rajmani is good with her, so that is one of the reasons I chose her. I mean, I do take different horses when I take him along, so trying out a couple of different horses. But of course, I try to use a horse he's compatible with, because if I have a horse which cannot stand him and might kick it or bite at him, by the end of the day, nobody is comfortable. Neither me, nor my guide horse or my riding horse, nor Rajmani, and I mean, this kind of defies the purpose. So yeah, so I'm riding Sultana here. I have her in a normal bridle and a saddle, and put some shoes on her, some equine fusion boots. And behind me you can see Rajmani. I'll show him to you in a little while. I have him on a knot halter. This is actually my preferred way of ponying along horses. I don't use a bridle because it would wean them off. Sometimes they jumpy a little bit, and they jump from one end to the other, and they'll always get a tug in the mouth, and that just doesn't need to be, in my opinion. I also don't use a normal halter, which can actually shift, which doesn't sit so well, so it can shift over the eye. And I also don't use a cavesson, because the cavesson exactly the same problem. It might shift and change and turn over his eyes. If you have a well-sitting cavesson, yeah, maybe, but I prefer the knot halter nevertheless. There following me. Sometimes like to look left or right. It's normal for a young horse, but he's pretty good. He's wearing a bareback pad and a knot halter. I started putting a bareback pad on him to get him used to the saddle, or with the intention of getting him used to having something on his back. I don't really have a very top-end bareback pad. I purchased a cheap one at one of the horse fairs here a couple of years ago. So I wouldn't really ride with it. It's not really that good. It's pretty basic, but it serves its purpose for this kind of work, and I'm quite happy to have it. Okay. Going along one of the little ways around here, you can see there's crops standing in the field. There's still the wheat there. They started harvesting now. It's a lovely, lovely, lovely afternoon ride. It's been pretty hot already. I love going out riding in the afternoon with my horses. Oh, Ali, come. And this is a problem when I do the video. I sometimes don't have my attention all the time on my horse I'm ponying along, and sometimes he likes to look left or right, and then he stops. And then I have to kind of get him back moving. Fortunately, my mare is really, really good, so that works.
Why do I pony my young horses along? Well, 3 reasons really. First of all, I pony them along to get them used to being directed from above. Now, I don't sit on them yet, but I'm sitting on my riding horse. Thus, I'm in a position on top of their back, and I'm giving them the cues from there. I'm giving them the commands from there, so they get used to having somebody there on top who's directing them. They also learn, of course, the commands. They learn to follow the riding horse. They learn the cues, and they learn an awful lot which is important for them as a preparation to being ridden, to becoming a riding horse. Second reason, they see a lot of things. So I usually start riding or start ponying my horses along when they're about 2 years old. So I take them from their sheltered existence on the farm and, I bring them outside in the countryside and I show them everything what's there. Traffic, people, animals, different kinds of obstacles, different kinds of stuff, lying around, standing around. So suddenly they see a lot of different things. Third of all, last but not least, it builds up muscles, right? So even before I ride them, I already give them a chance of building up muscles, of getting in stamina. Of course, with a very young horse, with a 2-year-old, I wouldn't work too much. I wouldn't take them for very long rides. I would take them out for the occasional, 4 to 5 kilometer ride or even 3 kilometer ride in the beginning, just walking, and then progress very slowly and build up stamina and build up muscles. Now with Rajmani, I'm already taking him out 5, 6, 7 kilometers. Today we are going to do about 9 to 10 kilometers. So he is gradually really building up stamina and condition.
So now you can see why ponying along horses to the Aravalli Mountains is serious business and trains not only his strength, his muscular strength, but also his coordination. So we are going really seriously up and down the mountains, and it's quite rocky ground. So he learns how to distribute his weight. He learns how to, maneuver over these stones and rocks, and just follow the example of the lead horse. Stones lying around, just go around them. So it just follows the example of my riding horse. We're down a little bit at the bottom now. So you can see up again, went to another valley, and always following a stony, tiny little good path to the mountains. And we've done enough of this, and eventually he's pretty good with legs and hooves. And this is the idea. That's why I'm doing this, to train him over this very difficult terrain. Down in a little palm tree grove, and now we have to go through there. Listen, through the palm trees. So he also learns that sometimes stuff is on top of his head, over him. Here again. Branches a bit up, and now we're here down in the valley. Very beautiful place. And he's done well so far, navigating the Aravalli Mountains with me. I'm really happy with him as an apprentice. So I see my youngsters as apprentices, you could call it. So I have to learn the trade, and he does really well so far. The dog is always along. Today only Rocky is there. Sometimes Daisy and even Singham come along as well. But today it's only Rocky. So it's good. Another thing he learned, that sometimes there's easy. Sometimes there is, something running behind him, making noises. So that's also good for him to learn. That's only the dog. Nothing to be scared about. see now in spring. It's very, very dry. You can see all these orange flower trees. That's a duck tree, the flame of the forest, which is flowering at the moment, making it very, very pretty, very beautiful, despite the arid landscape. It's very arid, it's very dry at the moment, really brownish, grayish rather than anything but green. But these hills will turn green come the rain. They'll be incredibly green, incredibly beautiful. But as I said, I love this time of the year, also spring. We're in the middle of spring now, if you can say, at the onset of summer. March still spring, from April on, but I would consider it summer. And then it gets hot. There's a bird of prey somewhere ahead of us. I'm not quite sure what it is. I first thought it would be a black shoulder kite, but it's too big really. It's standing there. I'm making a little break here up the mountainside with both of the horses. You can see there's Sultana behind me, and there's Rajmani, the naughty one, saying hello here. Yes. And yeah, it's very beautiful. It's a beautiful ride. I'll just swap the camera in a second so you can see it. So I just stopped. He had a bit of a poo, and I decided to give it a little break. Just a second. Stay here. And yeah, and then we continue back home, basically. So we have done now an hour ride. What is this going to be when it's done? What is this? Sometimes he still has issues in standing still, actually. This is the big issue I have with him. Whenever we stop for a little while, he gets a bit naughty. But he has never learned to stand still, so this is why I also make breaks, that he learns a little bit to stand still. I know that it's fine if you just make a little break. Arriving back at the farm. It's pretty dark now, or it's dark, but the sun is setting. Rajmani is pretty gone. They've done 9 kilometers so far. And we're probably having done 10 by the time we're back at the farm. So it's a pretty good ride, pretty intense, a lot of climbs up and downs, plus the bareback cut. So I guess he's sleeping quite well, and tomorrow he has a day off.